going on, everyone? So Reggie Bullock was waived by the San Antonio Spurs and is very likely going to sign with a contender. He is your prototypical 3-and-D veteran-style guy. He's still young, though. He's only 32 years old. He's coming off of a season in which he averaged 7 points, 3.6 rebounds, 1.4 assists, and 40.9% from the field. Got good size, right? He's 6'7", good just intangibles and tools that you want from a perimeter guy. Can play the 2, can play the 3. Last season, as far as three-point percentage goes, he was 38%. He's 38% for his career. And last season, that was on 5 attempts per game for the Dallas Mavericks. He averaged about 5 to 6 3-point attempts the last 3 seasons, the 2 years with Dallas, and then the season previous with the Knicks. And, of course, this is a guy that could really make an impact in the right situation on the right team. And a lot of Laker fans I see are screaming to go and acquire Reggie Bullock. Now, on the surface, kind of makes sense, right? The Lakers, out of all the positions, they could still use a sizable center, right? For like the Jokic, the Embiid matchups, things like that. Even like a Valanciunas or Steven Adams, right? These more sizable, bulkier type centers that could be a bit of a problem, a bit of an issue. But the other position of need, again, when you just look at the surface, not a big position of need, but you could kind of use a backup 2 guard, somebody that can light it up, play both sides of the ball. Also, it doesn't hurt to have shooting, right? To go get a guy that can give you 38% from 3 on high volume of 5 to 6 attempts per game would be very nice to add to the Lakers. But here's the thing. Reggie Bullock, we already did that experiment, right? We already did the Reggie to the Lakers experiment, and it didn't go great. It wasn't like atrocious, but he had one of the worst shooting seasons of his career that year. He only shot 34% from 3 on 5.2 attempts per game for the Lakers. He did give you 9 points per game, and this was the 2018-2019 season. So this was, now granted, it's a different situation, different environment. Talk about a team that now has LeBron, has Anthony Davis. His role wouldn't be the same as it would have been back then in the 2018-2019 season. But I think we should wait, personally. That's just me. I don't think that Reggie Bullock is the guy that fits the need. Granted, you're probably bringing him on a non-guaranteed deal. And, he's a guy that you could add to some salary at the trade deadline if you needed to, or you could always just waive if somebody better comes along, right? I wouldn't hate the idea of like maybe bringing him into training camp, right? If no other team is like jumping at the opportunity to sign him, bring him into training camp, see what he looks like, maybe give him some run with the starting unit, give him some run with the bench unit, just kind of see, okay, well, how does he look? Is he good? How is he on the defensive side? How is he on the 3 ball? And then if he looks good and it's like, all right, like he can make some sense, then maybe I'd give him the opportunity and again, sign him on a non-guaranteed deal, tell him to come in, buy into his role. But I mean, this is a guy the last like 5-6 years has averaged heavy minutes. I mean, this guy's been playing like 28 to 30 minutes, right? He averaged about 29 minutes a game for Dallas. He averaged about 35 because he had 1 year with 23.6 and then 30 minutes for the New York Knicks. So is he a guy that's going to be looking for an opportunity to play the most minutes possible, right? And also, like, what is he looking for? Is he looking for a championship level contender in which he can be a part of that and be another asset rather than a key asset? Because, he could go to a team, like Milwaukee or whatever, right? And maybe get a little more minutes, right? Or like Boston. Boston, they're thin right now and could use some bench depth. So him going to a team like Boston, I know it sucks, and this is a Laker channel. It pains me to say it, but again, got to be objective here. Like, Boston makes a world of sense for him, and he'd probably get more playing time. He's only going to get a vet minimum regardless of where he goes. So it just comes down to, the role, the fit, and the opportunity for him. And it's not like Boston's some bad team that's not going to be a contender. Like, they just got Drew Holiday today, which could end up being a problem. But yeah, I mean, you could bring him in, and kind of go that route, and then have him kind of be the first guard off the bench. And then I think that may be more enticing to him. But I don't know. I mean, the only players he'd really have to outbeat would be Max Christie and Cam Reddish, right? Because those are probably the two guys that are probably playing the two guard. Even based on the reports and just the information that we have available, it sounds like, Max Christie, like the Lakers really favor Max Christie and bringing him into the fold. And then Cam Reddish, he's another guy. I'm excited to see their battle at training camp and see how those two kind of just duke it out for just the rotation minutes. I mean, Austin Reeves is going to play probably 30 minutes a game at the 2 spot, right? Maybe he spends a little time at the point guard. But again, it's not a position that's like desperate need, right? Because again, you have Austin Reeves, you have D'Angelo Russell that you could easily just slide over to the 2. You got Max Christie, Cam Reddish. You got Taurean Prince that you could slide over to the 2. You could even go positionless basketball and put like LeBron at the 2, just for position's sake or whatever, right? You have a lot of just options and configurations with this Lakers roster that, again, it's not a dire need. But again, in the same breath, adding shooting doesn't hurt, right? And if he's willing to come in on a reasonable, like, hey, we're bringing you in. Some nights you might play 30 minutes. Some nights you might get a DMP. Some nights you might play 10 to 15 minutes. But we need you to come in and kind of use your skill set of being that known 3-and-D guy that can play multiple positions, right? Austin Reeves probably gets nights off. D'Lo probably gets nights off those games. You're going to play a big role and play a big part. If he's like, you know what, like, yeah, I'd totally be okay with that. Like, I just want to win. I'll play whatever role is given to me. Then, again, I wouldn't hate it. Like, if we got news tomorrow that the Lakers sign Reggie Bullock, I wouldn't be like, oh, Bullocks, right? I wouldn't be all upset about it, right? I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, got another legit 3-and-D style guy. You can't have too many of those guys. A guy that was pretty big and solid for Dallas the last few seasons. A guy that has familiarity and has been a bit of a journeyman, right? He's played for several teams. His last stint with the Lakers didn't go as planned or as hoped, but that was a completely different situation, a completely different environment, right? I mean, you're talking 5 years ago now. He was also younger, like he's grown, matured, all of that stuff. So I think he could come in and be a nice piece, right? It just also from the Lakers' perspective, what would you rather go with the young guys, right? Would you rather go with, because Bullock, I think, might be the better option come playoff time, right? But again, how many guys are you running in the playoffs? But at least Bullock, he's a guy that he's played, 27 games in the playoffs. So he's a guy that has that assessment. He shot 39% from 3 in the playoffs on 6 attempts average. And he's averaged 9 points a game for his career in the playoffs. So this is a guy that, again, is another one of those guys that slightly elevates come playoff time. Would you rather trust a Reggie Bullock over a Max Christie or a Cam Reddish come playoff time? Personally, I probably would. But do the Lakers kind of want to see what they got with Max Christie, see what they got with Cam Reddish, kind of allow them to blossom and grow because they'd be more key pieces for the future? Also, does Bullock look at this as like the Dennis Schroeder, Malik Monk type thing, where it's like, I could go to the Lakers if I have a big season, then that might be good for me to go get a big contract elsewhere next season, or get a bigger contract than I might get otherwise someplace else. It's just a thought. We've seen players kind of use that to their advantage. I mean, even Christian Wood. That was one of the talking points that Rob Pelinka talked about, was that, part of Christian Wood's decision was the fact that, like, hey, the Lakers are a place that you can go to and have the opportunity to where if you ball, guess what? You probably getting a payday. So anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you like the idea of Reggie Bullock? Do you not? Like I said, personally, I would pass. I wouldn't be upset if they signed him, but it's not something personally that I think the Lakers have to or need to go get. But I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know down in the comments.